Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green and this is Wise Women Oracle and Tarot, and today I'm bringing you a pick a card reading on who are you becoming. So I'd love to see you stick around. Do share your stories in the comments, like, subscribe, press that bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, my work, personal readings, you can check out the link below or visit erritygreen.com/shop. Last but not least, I'd love to see you in my other YouTube communities, both of which are linked below: Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television. So without further delay, I will place a picture up of your 3 card piles to choose from today. As always, you are choosing from left to right. Okay, so card pile 1, who are you becoming? So I feel like you are coming into your spiritual prowess, your spiritual knowing. You might be uncovering latent spiritual gifts or abilities or intuitive abilities, coming into some kind of energetic mastery, but someone I feel like that is very embodied. So we're not saying something that's really disconnected or abstract or sort of separated from life or disconnected from earth and nature. It's like sometimes there's like these versions that are sort of suspended and abstract and away from everything. I feel like you're going to be very connected, very embodied, very true, but very much coming into a place of deep spiritual healing, spiritual embodiment, spiritual knowingness. Just it feels like we could call that your higher self, your authentic self, your true self. If you consider yourself sort of, your inner god or goddess, inner priest or priestess. Some of you might be in formal training in some way. So I feel like some of you will resonate in the form of, oh, that's cool because I'm doing a Reiki healing or a shamanic apprenticeship program, or I'm doing a yoga teacher training. Some of you, this might be very formal and education based or training based, but I feel like for most or many of you, this is more of like a soul's quest, an inner mission, a path you've been on to find yourself, uncover the pieces of yourself, come into greater knowingness of yourself, becoming whole. That feels really relevant, becoming whole. But it's definitely about, though, it includes sort of having a strong sense of yourself, of your intuition, of clarity, of direction, of knowingness, and feeling confident in that, really feeling yourself. And it's like, beacon of truth and or your own oracle. It's like there is something here about spiritual prowess, spiritual maturity, and really standing on your own 2 feet in that way. Some kind of mastery, some kind of self or spiritual mastery. That's who you are becoming. And for sure, you are coming in deep connection and intimacy with your heart, with your heart's wisdom, your heart's gifts and blessings, with your intuition, with your spiritual, energetic, or intuitive powers. There is something here about gifts and abilities as well that is relevant and needs to be spoken to because it just feels so relevant. So many of you are going to connect with that very specifically. So who else are you becoming? Who are you becoming? You're becoming someone who sort of follows your own path and lives by the beat of your own drum. Someone who really knows themselves. Again, it goes back to that original or opening message, but who really knows themselves, knows what brings them joy, knows what brings them satisfaction, knows what brings them fulfillment, knows themselves. This is what it is. You're becoming someone who really deeply knows themselves. And because you deeply know yourself, you live true to yourself, and that's it. Like, there's no outside noise. There's no outside chaos. There's no outside turbulence. Even if there is, it's not going to affect you. And even if it does, it's not going to sway you off your path for sure. Like, yourself. This is where you're going. This is who you are. This is who you are now. This is who you will always be, because it has nothing to do with like even egoic stuff, or things that are temporary, right? This is about uncovering that inner indestructible part of you that really can't be touched, messed with, manipulated, adjusted. It's like finding that center and being with that at all times, really knowing yourself. So you're becoming someone who knows yourself, is true to yourself, so then lives true to So lives true to yourself, so lives true to then your satisfaction, your fulfillment, your knowing. So things tend to go well or right because you're following what is true to you, which is your alignment. And so I just feel like there's a very strong energy to this too, a strength, a conviction that keeps you right there. It's like wedged it right in. You're not like a little bit over here. You're not a little wobbly over here. It's like very much strong, solid, right here in your fulfillment, right here on your path, right here in yourself. Really not budged into anywhere else. Really self-knowing. It feels very powerful. It feels very, very profound. It feels very ordained. It feels very meant to be. It feels very destined. So let's look more here. What else is here for you? Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming? So I feel like it's interesting because we opened with this energy of this profoundness of who you are, of who you're becoming, this knowing oneself. It's so strong. It's so unwavering. It's so wise. It's so self-knowing. It's like, and it's like really beautiful. It's masterful. It's wise. I wish I had better words too, more words, something to touch this energy, and perhaps it'll come through. But knowing yourself feels like the most relevant. Living true to yourself feels like the most relevant. But I feel like for you right now, this might still feel a little bit out of your reach. And even saying that doesn't feel right because it's already inside of you. It's already within you. It's not something that can be changed or moved. It's like very much, this is high self, true self. You can't change that. It's like, a beacon of light. It doesn't change, doesn't shift. It's here. With that said, I do feel like this might be just out of reach for you, or feel like it's not quite there, because I feel like it's new to you, and or you're still in the process of contacting it or holding it consistently. You might be someone who can touch that, reach that, own that, but then something shifts, or you're not quite in that energy again, or it's just like it's not consistent, it's not constant, it's not something you're owning all the time. And so I feel like, while that energy is there, right, because it's who are you becoming, you're not quite there in it fully yet. I keep itching because I have a fan, because my AC is off, so all my hair, just keeps on, these little hairs just all over my face, itchy. But it's like, I don't know if you see this in yourself yet. I don't think you know that in yourself yet. So you're even being asked in those times where you don't know it, you can't find it, you don't feel it, to find that. Now you'll have the reading, you can save it, you can watch it again, but also finding that sort of, it's like this energy of this, right? It's back and forth, but then finding that part that's like, boom, bada bing, bada boom, that doesn't move. Finding that within yourself, and recognizing how you can continue to find that in moments where you do feel off, you do feel thwarted, you don't feel like yourself, you're not fully there, you're not fully embodied in that energy. It's like finding ways to return to that when you were quote unquote thrown off or not feeling in that space, because that's really who you are. That's it. That profound, it's like walking in, I've arrived. It's like kind of like that energy, but not even having to announce it either. It's like the energy of I have arrived, but not having to say a word. Everyone just knows you've arrived, right? You don't have to demand attention. You command it because you're in it and you own it. That's the kind of energy you actually are. Very, very powerful, very much a master. Whether you know it or not, would say or use those words or not, or identify it in that way, that's very much a part of you, a certain prowess, a certain mastery, certain way of showing up. And it's part of it is because it's a knowing of yourself and that conviction of being in that space. That's what kind of gives rise to that energy of I have arrived, or commanding of attention. But I don't know if you completely know that about yourself yet, and or have contacted that consistently, or maybe you've contacted it before or have lost yourself, because I feel like you went through a time, you're going either through now or you've been through, but I feel like you're still going the residual effects of some deeper healing, of some tumultuous waters, of some whoa, it's like you're on a boat and I'm like conviction, and you're like, I don't know what that is because I just feel this. And it's like, you might be going through a period of trials and tribulation, but it feels internal, right? It doesn't necessarily feel like there's a bunch of stuff happening outside of you. Could be, or maybe it started that way. But I feel like, any kind of rocking the boat that's happening right now as a result of the inner experience, transformation, shifting that you're moving through, this inner healing. But I feel like there was a loss, there's a loss of some kind. Was it a loss of yourself? You might be grieving or mourning a loss of what you think was about someone or something else outside of you, when really it was about a loss of yourself. So you're being asked to grieve or mourn that, so that way you can be clear on what it was that was actually lost, and then you can retrieve it if you want to, or let it go completely, so you create space for the new thing to enter and to kind of wedge itself there. But ultimately, what happens as a result of moving through this and grieving or mourning that loss and moving all the way through, and ultimately completing that chapter, or coming to a close with that process, what is revealed is this sort of ironclad self-ownership, self-mastery, this ironclad prowess, this commanding of attention when you walk in a room, this knowing of yourself completely, and as a result, coming into a place of really deep, great, profound fulfillment. So card pile 1, that is who you are becoming. If this lands, resonates, do share your story in the comments. Like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, my work, or personal readings, please do visit the link below or visit erritygreen.com/shop. Last but not least, I do have 2 other YouTube communities. I'd love to see you there, both Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television. They are both linked below. Thank you, card pile 1. All right, card pile 2, who are you becoming? Right off the bat, it does remind me a little bit of card pile 1. So if for any reason you were deciding or debating back and forth or felt energy in both, I would recommend, if that was the case, that you also listen to card pile 1. However, card pile 2, your reading is going to be unique to you. So I feel like you're still discovering like what it is that you want, and or what it is that you're passionate about, or what it is that does it for you. You know, what fulfills you, what moves you, what does it for you. I feel like you're on a path of finding more clarity around that. But who you are becoming is someone who is clear, who is fulfilled. But I feel like this is fulfilled in an emotional way, emotional fulfillment. So what is it that brings you joy? What brings you tears to your eyes? What moves you emotionally? What does it for you? What's your sweet spot? You know, and I feel like maybe you're exploring these questions, if not consciously. These are the deeper explorations that are underway within the journeying and adventuring and everyday experiencing of your life. You're answering the question, what does it for me? What emotionally moves me? What emotionally fulfills me? What doesn't? What turns me on? You know, what makes my heart skip a beat? What makes my heart happy? It's like you may not know it, and you may not have even asked those questions explicitly or specifically, and it may not be 100% clear or a conscious, intentional journey. But what's happening, the questions you are answering in your everyday life, you are living out the answers to the questions is, what does it for me? What moves me? What emotionally fulfills me? You're finding what fulfills you. Who are you becoming? Who are you becoming? Someone who is emotionally fulfilled and emotionally satisfied and emotionally true. Knowing yourself, honoring yourself, honest with yourself about what really does it for you. A life that could bring tears to your eyes, a life that, you know, you exude joy, you're fulfilled. It's like all things are in the right order. Everything is right here. It's like that feeling of everything is right in the world. Who are you becoming? A person who's living a life where everything is right in the world. Everything is just so. You know, it's like you found, like we tend to have that saying, like trying to put a square in a hole, or what is it? Or a hole in a square, I don't know. But it's like the square to the square, like you're finding that perfect fit, that sweet spot, the thing that does it for you, you know, you're hitting the spot, you know, whatever term, phrase, whatever we want to use. It's like you're really finding that emotional satisfaction, that emotional fulfillment. And I feel like that's the quest or journey that you've been on. Again, whether you've asked that consciously or explicitly or specifically in that way or not, but ultimately this is the quest that you've been on, and the quest that you have been living out. What emotionally fulfills you. You might not have been clear. You might have been through a period of loss, or a tower moment, or a crumbling of old ways of being, old identities, old people, relationships, experiences, or environments. And it's like, well, who am I now? What do I want? And it's like you're discovering what really does it for you in an authentic way, not the way that sort of appeased your wounding, or the ways that sort of satisfied your coping mechanisms of fleeing from yourself and running from your emotions, or all the ways you were trying to prove yourself or convince your worth and value, or show off to someone in the family, or, you know, carry on their torch or legacy. It's like actually you, what you want, authentically you. Like that's the path that you're on right now. And who are you becoming? Someone who is living that, breathing that, a living, breathing embodiment of your own emotional fulfillment, of who you are, of what you want, of what you were meant to create and experience in this life. You're becoming a living, breathing embodiment of that. Beautiful energy. So let's see, coming into a place of peace, peace of mind. You might be someone who values simplicity, simple pleasures, things like, you know, being out in nature, or sitting on your porch, or having a coffee, or reading a book, or quiet time before bed, or sweet simple conversations. You don't have to be someone who identifies as that, but peace does feel like a value. Simplicity feels like a value. It feels like that space where, again, where everything feels right in the world, where it's like the sun shines down, and it's like everything's all right, everything's at peace. You I really feel like you find that it feels like that energy, because it feels so simple, and because it feels like peace of mind, and because it feels so sort of close to earth and very like easygoing in terms of simple things, like, again, being on the porch and whatnot. It has an energy of sort of elderhood. Not that you are an elder or becoming an elder, but it very much could be an energy you're satisfying through that emotional fulfillment piece, where you're coming into, they call it the crone, or they call it elderhood, where it's just simplicity, it's ease, it's being in nature, quiet time, simplicity. And I wish I had other words because I keep saying the same ones. But ultimately, emotional fulfillment. And you're finding perhaps that it's the little things that do it for you, the simple pleasures that do it for you, home and family that does it for you, relationships that do it for you, a good home cooked meal that does it for you, the song lyric actually that's coming through, and that you don't have to necessarily relate to this, but it's like, no, we don't have a lot of money. No, we don't have a lot of money. You might know that song, Zach Brown Band. And then he's like, all we need is love, free as we'll ever be. So you don't even have to like love that song or like that line or think that, oh, I do have a lot of money, lady. But it just feels like that's not my, you might have all the things, but that's not what does it for you. And it's like the kernel that does it for you are those simple things, or all you need is love. So love might be your profound emotional fulfillment. You're seeking love in all of its forms. What does that look like? What form does it take in your life? How does that look in a relationship for you, or in your home and your family? So I feel like you've been on this quest to sort of uncover or reveal that for yourself, and then actualize it, materialize it, let it be, let it happen, embody it, experience it. That's the path that you're on. Who are you becoming? Someone who is emotionally satisfied, emotionally fulfilled by your everyday life, your everyday experience, by your life as it is. And you incorporate this, I feel like, intentionally into your life too. This isn't something that just, oh, is here because you have clarity. It's like if you're not already, you start, you begin, you commence this journey of, okay, how am I going to bring this out into my life? How do I make this true? How do I manifest or realize this? How do I make space for these moments, these significant but small moments, the simplicity in my life, this peace of mind in my life? How do I create or curate my life so that it is this way? So these things are revealed. So I do have time and space for relationships, for love, for family, for home, for hearth, that's the kind of energy here. If you're familiar with Haig as a philosophy of life, you might explore that. It's not 100% true to this energy that I'm feeling, but very close to it. Yeah, living by the heart. That's what this is about. Getting to know your heart, open your heart, know your heart, live by your heart, letting that be the energy that you embody, that you experience, that you choose every time, choosing to live by the heart. It feels Cancerian. It feels like energy of like home and family relationships, emotional fulfillment in that way. If you're not familiar with Cancer, or even the, what's the card in the tarot that represents emotional fulfillment? I mean, I really should know. Is it like 9 of Cups, 10 of Cups, something like that? But I read everything intuitively, so I don't always know 100%. But I feel like you're starting to see beyond the facades of what you thought did it for you, the pretenses of the things that you just did because you learned it or thought you had to, or thought this is how you got love or proved yourself worthy of love or whatever. All the things that you once did because you felt like you had to, or because it was necessary, or because this is how you got approval or recognition or whatever. This is how you maintain this relationship, status quo. It's like all these things that you thought you had to do or you needed to do, like things that were in your life, but were just there because of conditioning or because you thought you had to or whatever. It's like that's being done away with, and it's all about what is true for you, and that's it. If it's not true for you, if it's not emotionally moving or emotionally fulfilling for you, it's not for you. And so ultimately you come into this beautiful, beautiful space of love, of peace, of satisfaction, of fulfillment, where again, it just feels like the sun is touching all areas of you. Like, what a beautiful kind of imagery or visualization to work with, but doing it in an embodied way where you're really just imagining being touched by the sun in all areas of you. It's like, that's the energy. You might even consider to yourself, where do you feel that? And that's more of those experiences or energy to bring to your life. I know I feel like the sun has touched me in all areas of me, my soul, when I'm in the mountains. I know for a fact that's when I feel 100% me, 100% true. So you might ask yourself, what is that for you? And how do you bring more of that experience into your life? And if you can't bring that experience into your life, either what's the next best thing, or how do you bring more of that energy to your life? So it's like, again, for me, if it's the mountains, it's going to be nature. It's going to be being out on the porch. It's going to be, it's like finding those things that are a reflection of that, even if it's not the actual thing. The actual thing is just giving you a breadcrumb or a kernel to work with, so that you know what it is or what the symbol is, and then you can bring it into your life in innumerable ways. So card pile 2, who are you becoming? Someone who is emotionally fulfilled, emotionally satisfied, and authentically you. If this reading lands for you, I encourage you to share your story in the comments, like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive a reading every single time, a notification every single time a reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me or personal readings, you can check out my link below or visit erritygreen.com/shop. Last but not least, I'd love to see you over at my other YouTube communities, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television, both of which are linked below. Thank you, card pile 2. Okay, card pile 3, who are you becoming? So I feel like if you're not already there or stepping into it now, it'll be happening in the near future, or at some point toward like the end of this current chapter, this current journey that you're on, where your life takes an unexpected turn or something unexpected arises. It's kind of the energy where it's a new idea, or you take a leap, or a new lover, or a new job opportunity, but it just feels like something unexpected. Who are you becoming? I feel like there is an element here. I don't have 100% yet of clarity on what this is in terms of who are you becoming, but of course that'll be answered as we go. What I do feel like is you're leaving old sort of things behind. Okay, so it's like things that you might have been caught up in before, old programs and narratives, conditioning, wounding, limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs, belief systems that held you back. It could be things even like inner dynamics, like inner critic, but things that have limited you or held you back or didn't allow things to progress or move forward, things that just weren't ultimately true for you or good for you or beneficial for you in terms of your growth, in terms of your evolution, in terms of your healing. I feel like you're releasing that now, and you're finding as a result, when that happens, as that happens, that new experiences are revealed, new opportunities are revealed, new paths are revealed, new directions are revealed. I feel like it's almost like what you thought wasn't, and what you didn't expect is. Something like that. Now, I know that's not clear. It's like, who am I becoming? A mystery, an enigma? Thanks, Errity. But we're going to get more clarity, I promise. I feel like you're sort of caught up, and it's like something takes you on a quest or a journey or an experience that you never would have expected, never could have foretold, but it brings you on this whole experience. And it honestly reminds me of the story or the experience of Alice in Wonderland, where she falls down a hole, and the next thing you know, her whole life changes. Everything that she thought was real isn't. Everything that she didn't know was real is. It's like she ends up being on this whole journey, this whole quest, this whole adventure that she never could have foretold, right? Truth being stranger than fiction in her reality. You know, she's even reading a book before she goes down this hole, which I know she ends up taking a nap or whatever, but just follow along with me here, where it's like, she goes on this rabbit hole. The next thing you know, she's on a journey that she never could have expected, never could have foretold, had no idea what it would bring her. She meets all these characters, goes on all these adventures, many adventures, losses, ups and downs and upheavals, left and right and all around, and suddenly comes out a totally new person, a totally new awareness of herself, a totally new awareness of life, a belief in greater possibilities, allowance of greater potentials, and just a totally different person. Can you imagine being Alice in the beginning of that, and then at the end of that journey, who you are? She's not at all the innocent person that she was before, or the unknowing person that she was before. It's almost like all of that has been cleared away. There's like not a chance that could ever even be, like, that's not the half of what she became or what her reality became. And I feel like that while that's metaphorical, I mean, it's symbolic, right? So you're probably not going to go down a rabbit hole and have some kind of great adventure. Now, you might be having an adventure. Maybe you're planning a trip, or have it on a trip, or have it on an adventure like that, of sorts. that would allude to also what I'm sharing here. But this also could be an inner quest or adventure. It could just be the great adventure of your life, where things have shifted so much in the past several years, or moved so much, or transformed so much that you aren't at all who you were before. Life doesn't look at all the way it once did. And maybe part of your work, part of the opportunity, part of the challenge, the inspiration here is seeing it as a great adventure. Maybe perhaps you're looking at it with a wounded mindset or limited perception, where it was like, oh, that was hard, or oh, that was gutting, or oh, this has been difficult, or what was that for, and why did that happen to me? You might be kind of going through some of those questions. There's nothing wrong with that. That's totally normal. And have you looked at it as the greatest adventure of your life? Have you seen it as the adventure that it was? If you were to make it out into a play or into a story, I actually encourage you to do that. I want you to go, this is so much fun. I want you to go card pile 3 and see your life as a great adventure, or like a story that you're reading, and retell it. Rewrite this story, retell it with an adventure mindset, with the hero heroine at the helm of your book. You're the protagonist. What are you encountering? Who are these characters? What are you facing? You might make it a fictional experience, though. It doesn't have to be nonfiction where it's like a memoir. You can make it more fun. You can make it more fantastical. You can make it characters. What is happening in your world, in your life. If you made it more like an adventure, made it more like Alice in Wonderland, who would the people in your life be showing up as in this story? How would you be showing up? Who is your protagonist? What are they dealing with? What are they facing? What are they challenged by? What are they discovering in this quest, in this adventure? Through these sort of trials, tribulations, through the turbulence, through this labyrinth that they go through, what is it that they end up uncovering about themselves, discovering, taking away from this experience, this journey? Not only will you find probably a lot of nuggets and wisdom that you otherwise didn't see or look at or find in your life experience, looking at it the way that you have, but I feel like you're going to have a greater respect for yourself, for your journey, for your life experience, for this great adventure that you've been on, a greater respect for maybe even the wounding that it was experienced, or that, the suffering that came through with this, if there was any for you. I just feel like there's a different set of eyes on this when you become more of the novelist, or the author of creating a story and seeing it from the eyes of a grand adventure, a different perspective. I feel like you're going to gain so much more awareness as to the gifts, the blessings, what you're meant to take away from this, and who you become as a result. I feel like you become very intimate by doing this exercise with the Alice on the other side of this, i.e. who you are as a result of the changes and the transformation that has transpired. I also feel like this creative expression for you might not only be healing and cathartic and medicine for you, it might very well be something you end up sharing with others. It might be something that you end up being able to post, to share, to turn into a movie, a story, to put out on the stage. Like, it very well could become something that becomes medicine for others. That's true creative expression. Your life as art, basically. Healing, catharsis, medicine for you, but also something other people might relate and connect with or connect to. Again, I do feel like you're going to find nuggets in here that an insight and healing that you otherwise would not have seen or experienced by looking at it through this lens. If your life were a fictional story, an adventure, and you were the protagonist, what are they experiencing? What do they face? What transpires? And what do they discover and walk away with as a result? Okay, so take a look at that. Yeah, I feel like this becomes your gold. This becomes the pot at the end of the rainbow. This becomes the muse. So who are you becoming? Gosh, I don't even know how to answer this yet. But who are you becoming? It's like you become the sort of the pot at the end of the rainbow, right? The pot of gold. It's like this becomes your muse. Like, you're using life. You become an alchemist. Who are you becoming? The alchemist. Who are you becoming? The artist. Who are you becoming? The creative. You're already these things, but it's a matter of using the things that happen in your life to become something worthwhile, blessing, gift, something you can even bestow to others, right? So you're a great alchemist. All the things that you learn can become medicine, healing, and catharsis for others. The way that you serve, or how you serve, or even directly you support and serve other people in the same way, or on the same journey that you went through. So maybe you are a therapist, coach, healer, teacher, guide of some form or some kind. It does not have to be literal or specific in that way. We are in our energy at all times, so we have that effect on other people, whether we try to package it and make it something that other people can buy or not, or consume or not. It can be just ours, and it can be our creative expression and our art, but ultimately an alchemist. Who are you becoming? A medicine man, a medicine woman, through these experiences of your life, becoming bigger, becoming greater, becoming more of yourself, more profound, more of a force to be reckoned with, a force of nature. This is about using your experience for fertile soil, right? It's like, this is fertilizer for the things that come alive in your life, fertilizer for your art, fertilizer, like it's the muse, right? It gives birth and gives life to new things, to new expressions within yourself, to new voices within yourself, to new experiences within yourself, new discoveries within yourself. And all of this is expansion. All of this is new life, new birth, vitality. It's expanding your life and your experience of yourself. It opens up new doors, it opens up new portals, it opens up new healing, it opens up new forms or experiences of expansion. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. It's immeasurable, it's invaluable wealth that comes from these experiences. So any kind of challenge you have in your life, or the big challenge you might have had in your life, this is meant to be sort of milked, milk it for what it's worth. There's tons of milk here, endless wealth that you're meant to get from this. Could be monetary, could be material. I do feel like there's some artists and creatives here, some alchemists and magicians of the group for sure, where you are meant to be able to express yourself, express your art, share it, serve it up, maybe even sell it, baby. Whatever it is you do, I feel like this could become something, whether it's like actually this journey that we talked about, writing down and then sharing. Doesn't have to be that, although it could be. It's like whoever you are shaped by because of what you went through, that becomes something that is profound, big, and valuable, important. Whoever you become, maybe it's a best-selling author, maybe it's a best-selling artist, maybe it's a well-known actor, maybe it's a thought leader, maybe it's a podcast, something that you become famous or wealthy with. It doesn't have to be that thing, but I do feel that energy here. I do feel like this was always meant to become the fertilizer for your soil, where you end up embodying someone who has used their experiences masterfully to become who they are meant to be shaped by. It's like, who's that person in Batman? I was molded by the dark. I was shaped by the dark. I became the dark. And it's like, you're molded by it. You were shaped by it. And now as a result, you are this on the other side. Who are you becoming? A master, but also someone who's now capable, a medicine man, medicine woman, who's able to share their medicine with others, an artist, a creative, someone who is using all of this, literally turning straw into gold, manure into gold. You're an alchemist. You're bringing all of this, your life process is your creative process, is your medicine, is your healing, is your wisdom, is your gift. Like, this is all meant, it's like kind of how when you go through something challenging or difficult, and I've even had people who have watched my journey and then they share with me, like, this is for them, man, this is for your clients, this is for your people, this is who you're meant to serve. Like, this doesn't have to be all about you, or make it to where it's so subjective that it hurts. Like, this can be the medicine that you give to others. Like, this is for them. Make it about them. That's what we artists do. We alchemists do. We magicians do. Who are you becoming? I feel like coming into your personal power, really seeing all the ways in which maybe things once limited you, held you back, held you down, didn't serve you, didn't honor you, and you learn to, like, bring it into your body, even metabolize it, digest it, and make it into something else. Like, that really is it. Like, you take it, you digest it, and your life is the muse for you, and you put it into something that is art. You create it into something that is consumable, or something that people would want, or something that people would buy, or something that would be healing or medicinal for people, or supportive for people. It's a way that you are of service. So who are you becoming? This could be the voice of the ages. You're becoming a master. Instead of taking things at face value in your life, or letting them get you down, or down for too long, you are using them, metabolizing them, and allowing them to be the fertilizer for your life, for your creative process, for your creations, for who you are, for what you do here, for your growth, for your service, for how you can contribute and offer medicine to the world. You're using this as fertilizer. It's the great alchemy. It's what we're meant to do here, right? It's what we're meant to do. We are meant to take what we experience from life and turning it into something meaningful for us in terms of our growth, our path, what we do with our lives, who we become, and how we share and serve others. So bravo, card pile 3. This is who you are becoming. If you're not there, now you know how to get there, or at least where you're going. If you find you enjoyed this reading, do share your story in the comments, like, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. If you want to get to know more about me, my work, personal readings, you can check out the details below or visit erritygreen.com/shop. Last but not least, I invite you to join me in my other YouTube communities, Psychic True Crime and Wise Women Television. Thank you, Card Pile 3.